So Daniel Kretinsky, he's trying to uh, thump. Is that the word? Thump the board by signing Marco Silva. Marco Silva, as name has entered the running. Welcome everyone. Good evening. My name's Nicky Hawkins, and this is just a quick impromptu video, really, about the manager and the feelings on the board at the moment. So the story is this, right? So we've gone to go and get Nuno Espirito Santo, which is you know, as far as we all knew, was the preferred manager. So Nuno Espirito Santo has all of a sudden been caught up in some legal wrangle with Nottingham Forest, and apparently it's been it's a bit of a mess, right? So I've heard what's happened, but it's a bit of a mess, right? So they've obviously started exploring different options. Now there is a board holder by the name of Tripp who came over from the States, I believe, and he just so happened to be in town the same time as Daniel Kretinsky, which is another obviously shareholder, not a major shareholder, but a shareholder. So they've all had a meeting, and the board, which would be Brady and Sullivan, have put to the board this little contingency, 3 other managers that they wanted. So the managers were, I do believe, Scott Parker, Slaven Bilic, and Gary O'Neill. And basically, I think from what I hear, Kretinsky just turned around and said, "What the fuck's this?" You know what I mean? Like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? We've got money invested in this, and it's not. So the 2 names now, and he brought up a name which was Marco Silva. So Marco Silva obviously is employed, and Marco Silva would obviously cost money. Now, basically, what's come to light is that Marco Silva has been touted by West Ham for a long, long time. He's been seen as the right man for the job before Moyes, maybe even before that. Definitely before Pellegrini, right? So they've gone out and employed all of these managers, and they don't want to pay the compensation for Marco Silva. Now, if this doesn't tell you how much of a fucking how much we are not going to progress under this board, nothing will, right? So bear in mind, in that time, we've bought players like Skamaka, Haller, people of that ilk. You know, who's the winger? I can't remember the winger's name. That's how good he was for West Ham. 30 million quid, never really played, right? So they bought people like him, for people like them, and they have basically lost money hand upon fist, right? So the reason the cat's walking across the bloody keyboard, the reason that the board have thought this was a bad idea is because they have to pay money. £8.6 million. It's between 8 and 10 million pounds, right? Now, I don't believe that Marco Silva would leave Fulham. I don't believe that, right? Anyone that's come here would absolutely be mental to come and want to work for this lot, right? Because £8.6 million, bearing in mind that they're going to cost, it's going to cost about 4 million quid, 3 million quid, something like that, to sack Potter, right? So you talk about 12 million pounds. Okay, we've just paid 20 million pounds for one of the worst goalkeepers, Cornet. There's another name, Cornet, right? 20 million pounds for a goalkeeper who's spent 4 games in goal and have this deemed not good enough, right? The amount of money these lot have wasted over the years on shite. Let's be honest. Let's not mince our words here. Absolute fucking dross, right? The amount of times that we've wasted money like that, right? And one of the common denominators in a lot of it is Hugh Gill. About that on him, wasn't it? Hugh Gill, 12 million. Will Salthouse is the man I'm trying to look for, the name I'm trying to look for. So the amount of money we've wasted on shite is unbelievable. Now, they believe that this is the man that was going to go and I said this so many times. they believe this was the man that was going to take us to the next level, right? But they won't pay the compensation to him. And I said this on a podcast I was on yesterday. Vlasic, that was the name I was looking for, Rich. Vlasic. Imagine the amount of money we spent on Vlasic, right? But yes, so they thought this was the man, but they won't pay the compensation. Now, that to me, right, that's embarrassing to sit in front of shareholders, major shareholders as well, and turn around and say they don't want to fucking £5 million plus for Phillips. Yeah, there we go. To sit in front of major shareholders and say that you won't pay compensation for the manager that you've always wanted and you think is going to be the next, he's going to take us to the next level. Now, that says to me that they don't want to go to the next level. They don't want to spend money anymore to go to the next level. Kretinsky must be, I'd be battering him if I was Kretinsky, to be quite honest with you. I could not sit in the same room with a man that makes that much sense, because he makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all, right? There's obviously a feeling that they could get him, otherwise they wouldn't mention his name, right? And there's obviously been some sort of inquiry into how much it would cost, whether it be internal, external, whatever. So to sit there and say to your major shareholders, we don't want to go and get him because he's going to cost money, is an embarrassment. It makes us look tin pot. It makes us look like bargain basement FC, which is what we are. Let's be fucking fair. That's exactly what we are. We are bargain basement FC. We are looking for the cheapest and the best of the cheapest options. And we always have. And under this ownership, we always will. Now, I've done a podcast this week called The Ripple Effect. You can go and catch that on Spotify, where I talk about football's moments and when you strike. And if you look at the synergy and the similarities between Tottenham and West Ham, Tottenham struck when the iron was hot. They won the trophy. They knew that the manager weren't right for them. They knew the manager wasn't the one that they wanted to take them forward, and they sacked him. And they used that moment where they had Champions League football, was still and a bit of money to spend to go and get the manager they wanted. What West Ham done was stuck with Moyes, threw him to the wolves a little bit, and then went out of every competition. And made us less attractive by the time we was trying to attract a new manager, because I don't think they want to pay money for him. And funny enough, when Moyes was going to be going at the end of that Conference League win, when I said he should leave, I think that Thomas Frank would have been perfect, and he could have been convinced to come, because West Ham had a chance to go forward with that. But the fact that these owners are wincing at the fact of paying 8 million, 9 million quid. And in football, that's not a lot of money. Let's be honest. There's players that earn that in wages, and it's not a lot of money. And if it's going to cost you £9 million to save £100 million worth of revenue against people that are worth reportedly about 10 billion pounds between them, it just shows you that these people are not fucking serious about taking this football club to the next level. And that, my friends, is the reason that we need these people out. We will never, ever, ever go anywhere. No, bear in mind that these are the people that promise us that we will go somewhere. We will never, ever go somewhere while we're acting like fucking car boot sale bargain hunters. Never. That is why, right? Sullivan thinks he is a director of football. A director of football. He couldn't even direct his own bloody home movies. That's how good of a fucking director he is. Absolutely bargain basement, car boot salesman, fraud of an owner, a fouled businessman who only can sell what you cannot fail to sell. That is what he is. Nothing. He's nothing. And that is why we'll never get anywhere. Daniel Kretinsky needs to fucking get his shit together and buy this football club, because at least, the very least, he seems fucking serious about it. Gold's family don't want to know. They don't want to know anymore. They're trying to sell their shares. Don't know about this new investor, but this clown Sullivan is sitting there in front of his boardroom and telling them he won't pay £10 million. Absolutely cretin. So Matt says Kretinsky isn't on the board. I heard this morning. No, I don't think he is, mate. But he's a major investor. He's a major investor who's got money in it. So he has got a say to some extent. These are the things that they've got to get they've got to present to him. Without Kretinsky, we will be left disappointed as always. I hope Kretinsky gets his way on this one, to be honest with you. Listen, Nuno Santos, fair enough. If they think he's the right man for the job, but apparently he is being seen as the right man for the job by the whole board, and they won't pay the money. So yeah, wanting Silva is one thing, getting him is another. If you show enough interest in him, you may be able to convince him. I said to my son Matt Rainey when the move happened, we only play away games. I don't go unless my son and grandson forces me. Rather stay at home. GS Bill killed our club. We need a top director of football before getting a manager. We had one appointed against the will of the manager, it seemed. But there we go. Yeah. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Absolute shambles of a football club, this one. And it's just a quick video, really. So we'll be back for the members today with the podcast. I've got to say this, Dagenham and Redbridge, go and get your tickets for the Dagenham and Redbridge night. If you're not going to the event away, come and join us at Dagenham and Redbridge with Andy Carroll, as we can watch the Everton game. There's a lot going on there. There's a DJ, there's a little fan zone, there's everything there. I think the tickets are £5. They're not going to go up anymore. So go and get your tickets right now. We want about 100, 150 people there to come and see us. So yes, thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you like the video, it helps us out greatly. Hype the video if you've got hypes left. And then Kretinsky in the chat, somebody said. But then, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say. Oh, the podcast. If you remember, the podcast is coming tonight. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.